The Greatest Gift by Hoofprintz. Time well spent. Twilight Sparkle laid on the bed within her room in Canterlot Castle, silently reading a book on the intricacies of casting teleportation spells. Next to her lay a scroll with notes on said literature. It was Hearthwarming Eve, and in less than 24 hours she was expected to take an exam on what she'd learned. Princess Celestia, her mentor and co-ruler of the land of Equestria, would be giving her the exam personally. The Sun Princess was currently on a diplomatic trip to Saddle Arabia, but would soon be back home to evaluate Twilight's progress. The idea both excited and terrified the young unicorn. She'd been under the personal tutelage of the Princess of the Sun going on a year now, and she was finally getting to what she considered the good stuff. While the Violet Mare was typically a straight-A student, her studies were becoming more and more difficult as she gained more knowledge. As she glanced out the window of her room, she noted the light snowfall outside. It was a lonely time of the year, especially on a night such as this. Normally, she'd spend such a festive holiday with her mentor, but that wasn't possible this year. She'd wanted to accompany Celestia on her trip, but the opportunity simply wasn't there. Her next choice of holiday company, her brother and sister, was a no-go as well. The Crystal Empire was almost as far away as Saddle Arabia, and she wouldn't have been able to make it home in time for her test had she traveled to the north. Her last hope, her parents, was dashed as soon as she received word that they'd gone on vacation to Las Pegasus. Even though she'd been given no prior notification they'd be leaving, it hadn't bothered her. She wouldn't have gone with them anyway. That city just wasn't somewhere she wanted to go, and so she sat alone in her room, studying just like nearly every day of the past year. As she gazed at the small hearth-warming tree sitting in the corner of her room, she couldn't help but feel nostalgic. It reminded her of the year prior, a time when she wasn't so pressured to excel. Only 12 months ago had she spent Hearthwarming Eve with her friends. Minuet, Moondancer, Lemonhearts, and Twinkleshine were all amazing mares. From a young age, Twilight had grown very close to her group of friends, but as soon as her lessons from the princess began, she started to neglect them. It wasn't something she'd wanted to do, more something that just happened. She couldn't recall the last time she'd even seen them, and that weighed heavily on the young mare. Maybe they don't even care about me anymore, she thought ruefully. It was a sobering thought, but one that frequently popped up on holidays such as these. Most distressing was the fact that as more time passed, the thought grew even more plausible in her mind. The only thing that kept the thought at bay was the idea that she, herself, had not forgotten about them. No, they wouldn't, she declared with a smile on her face. She knew it to be true, yet there was still a painful sadness deep in her breast, one that would not go away. She wanted to see them. She missed them dearly, and there was no way to know just where they all might be. Closing her book and getting off her bed, she stood to her hooves and walked over to the window. The amount of snow falling was just right, giving the night sky a beautiful white and black appearance. Moondancer always hated the snow, she thought to herself, a chuckle escaping her lips. Her friend had a most legitimate reason for having such an odd disposition. Given any opportunity, Minuet would ambush the poor unicorn with snowballs galore. It was a game they played whenever winter came around, and one that Moondancer seemed to always lose. With a longing sigh, Twilight gently pressed a hoof against the cold glass. What she wouldn't give to be with them in the snow right now, being silly and just having a fun time. The frigidness of the window made it almost feel as if she might have a snowball in her hoof at that very moment, causing her smile to grow. Those thoughts were instantly replaced when her stomach grumbled loudly, jarring her back to reality. Unfortunately, the hunger recalled Lemonhearts and Twinkleshine specially made hearth-warming treats. Each and every year, the pair would bake a large amount of cookies and pies for the occasion. They were beyond delicious, and right now, the mere thought of them was making the unicorn's mouth water. I'll go get something in a bit, she thought dejectedly, still staring out the window. She knew that whatever she'd be able to get from the kitchens wouldn't be as delicious as what her friends had made. It was getting late, so the staff that was still on the clock would be small and not the best the castle had to offer. Maybe I'll just head into town and pick something up. She shook her head. It was a poor idea. She still had to study, and most places wouldn't even be open on a holiday like today anyway. Lifting her gaze in disappointment brought the most beautiful sight to her vision. The full moon that rested in the sky high above Equestria was shining especially bright tonight. It gave Luna's canvas the most breathtaking crown. I wonder what she's doing tonight, she thought as she stared at the Night Princess's most precious treasure. She's probably just waking up. A light rapping came at the door to her room, drawing her attention immediately. She hadn't been expecting any visitors, so the sudden interruption had made her heart skip a beat. Coming, she called out as she trotted over to the door. Who is it? She asked once her hoof touched the knob. Considering her mentor was so far away and no pony else tended to visit her, she was a bit cautious at opening the door so boldly. "'Tis I, Twilight." She knew that voice. It was not one she'd ever expected to visit her. Princess Luna? What are you... As the young unicorn opened the door, she was completely flabbergasted at the sight that greeted her. Surprise! The 4 mares, her best friends, shouted with delight. Princess Luna stood at the center of them, a kind smile on her face. What? I don't... Twilight couldn't find the words, her eyes sweeping back and forth over them as tears began to develop. Come in, come in! She was finally able to get out, a wide smile coming to her own lips. As 4 mares passed by her, she noted the wrapped gifts Moondancer and Minuet had on their backs, and the plate of cookies and multiple pies Lemon Hearts and Twinkleshine carried. Princess Luna, however, didn't enter. The purple unicorn looked at the dark alicorn with a confounded look on her face. "'Tis my gift to you, Twilight, on this most wonderful of nights. Happy hearth-warming." She bowed her head slightly before turning to leave. She must have known, Twilight thought, her heart fluttering at such kindness. She had to have. Princess Luna? She nearly shouted, halting the Princess of the Night in her tracks. Yes? The alicorn glanced over her shoulder. It would be an honor if you joined us. Please? There was the faintest hint of desperation in Twilight's voice, the possibility of the mare who'd given her such a thoughtful gift being alone for the evening aching her heart. I would love to, Twilight. Princess Luna's smile grew as she turned back around and entered Twilight's quarters as well. So, this one was my story. One of my stories. I did this one like last year, before Christmas. I wanted to challenge myself to do a story that I didn't really prepare for. So what I did was I thought up a concept of what I wanted to write, which took about a minute, and then I put on a YouTube video that was an hour long, and I would have that hour to write, and no matter how the story turned out, I would be done by the hour mark. So this story took me 59 minutes and 26 seconds to write to completion. And that obviously shows. You could tell, like, the ending is just kind of like, here's the end. But I still really like it. I really like Luna. Obviously, she's... Luna and Twilight are both in my top 5. And I think this is just a nice little warm Christmas story. I really did like Moondancer in them. I haven't really used them too much. I did use them in another story, but I haven't used them as like sweet, kind friends with Twilight, so I was happy to use them here, even just a little bit. I think they get kind of neglected, which sucks, but I wanted to use them too. So yeah, I like this story. I like my stories. Not trying to be like arrogant or anything, but I think this one turned out well. So I thought I'd post it for this Christmas, and yeah, the Fluttershy, because she clearly won. Not as much as Twilight. Rarity did well. Pinkie got roasted, which is crazy because I thought people liked Pinkie more, but I guess not. The Fluttershy fic is coming very soon. I already have one picked out. It's one that I like a lot. And then after that will be maybe a Rarity and Pinkie one, or I might do a Rarity and then a Pinkie one. But yeah, I'm also working on the larger third one, which will be my number 3 favorite character. Thank you guys and gals and everyone else for the feedback and responses to the Sunset video. I'm really happy how that turned out. I'm glad a lot of people liked it. I've also decided kind of how I'm going to format videos. I'm going to do long-term videos, short-term videos, and then the fic readings. The short-term videos will probably be like 10 to 15-minute videos, and I think I'm going to do those as numbered ones. And I think the first one that I want to do on that one is the villains of MLP ranked, so that'll probably be coming soon too. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I truly appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all.